Venus. But I wonder if we just, accept the fact that we're on Venus. That we've either been on Venus or Mars. It's really what it's starting to feel like. I mean, realize that all of us that seem to know all these answers about what's going on energetically, and we're going to talk about the drones. I mean, this is what we're going to talk about, because the cosmic answers and what's lining up in this solar ascension is what the word is. The new word is that they came up with. Solar ascension is lining up those Dyson rings and popping out of the core. It's basically like if you're in that big angel, that big picture of that angel, and the angel's that big eye, and then that eye has those Dyson rings around it that are moving, those spheres. They're not even spheres. They're like different rings that are moving around the eye. Okay? Well, imagine if you're the eye. Imagine if you're the eye. Now realize that each one of us is having to get into the eye before we get out. Some of you haven't ever been attached to the eye. Some of you, it's been millions of years since you've been attached to the eye, to where you forgot that you were from the eye. You had been living on the ring. There is no way that you could be living on that ring if you weren't somehow attached to that eye. If you weren't at some point looking out that eye, there's no way that you could have ended up living on a ring. Now, there ain't just one ring, is there? There ain't just one ring. Let's see if we can find that picture. What is that picture, though? I don't even know what to type in to look at it. What should I look up? Angel, true angel eye with Dyson rings. Now, in Dyson vacuum cleaner, there's a reason that they call it Dyson. Here it is. Now, these are all different pictures. Let me see here. Let's look at, well, see, there's many different ways to explain this. This is the one that more so is going to be holding a Magellan grid system. This is like a Magellan grid system. This grid system is there. There's a whole bunch that are overlaid. See this one right here? See this one right here? And it's holding a bigger net. See? This one right here is holding the bigger net. This one right here is the one that you'd consider your ley lines and your GPS, and it's how we use Waze, and it's how you get around on the planet with it showing up in your computer. But from the Masons and the family female lines and the sacrifices that they made of the human beings in their lines to make technology, the first Morgan woman was sacrificed to make this framework, the GPS one. This one. It was called Magellan. You can't even find it hardly on the internet anymore. If you try to go Google it, you can't even, it doesn't even pull up. But so you might have to do a little bit more research. But it's called Magellan. Magellon. And it was the first magnetic field that then all your GPS locations, all the tracking for airplanes, any type of tracking for travel, it's gravity. It's gravity and magnetism. But that's only one ring. That's only one ring. If you're thinking about this picture, realize that like that ring that we just talked about is like this one. It's like it's attached to this one. Okay? Not this one. That first one in the background, that would be this one. Then the Magellan one is this one. And look, there's another one. Okay? Now, I know that it's hard to fathom because of what we've been taught and how we cannot feel motion in a form, like we can't feel motion, but realize that this, every single one of these rings is moving together. So even I know it's easier. I keep pushing these, man. I know it's easier to think of these as either the Dyson rings or the grid system. Like it's easier for our mind to think about it as either this or this. But the truth is, this is this. And it's moving. This is moving. It's not sitting still. It's moving way out here and way out here. That's why you don't feel it. Your body is what's holding what's moving on way out here and way out here. You're the center point. You're the connection. Now, when you first break out of the matrix, depending on the type of being you are, it just depends. And where you're at and what stage, because this is like your natal. Depending on what type energies you brought in, right? Then when you break out of the matrix, basically what you're doing is waking up inside this ring. You're become aware that you're inside this ring, or you become aware that you're the I. Now, if you've got a bunch of Pisces energy, then you're used to being the I from a perspective, because we could say that I is at 3 degrees Pisces. We could say that I in the wheel, because remember this wheel moves and you move. So if we were going to mark where the I was, Abhinav, we are talking about the solar ascension, and we're talking about astronomy and what's changing in the cosmos, and why we've got drones and everything, and what's happening. 3 degrees of Pisces is where Fomalhaut is. Fomalhaut is number 31. Let's look at Fomalhaut. Wait, let me do this one. Fomalhaut is an archangel. It's Archangel Gabriel. It's Archangel Gabriel. It's at 3 degrees Pisces, dead on. Dead on, it's at 3 degrees Pisces. Opposite it is 3 degrees Virgo. 3 degrees Virgo would be like this eye staring at that, the inside of, if this eye is staring straight at this ring right here, it's staring straight there. I have an entire modality, and I can teach, and actually I was a CEO and a 40 under 40 entrepreneur and business owner, and my tech company was stolen to create the harvesting machine, and I got stuck in it because the company was my creation. And this is how this information has come to pass in the past 7 years, as we were being uncoiled physically from artificial intelligence. And yes, I'm not currently working with any independent companies or public companies, but the ones that would be smart enough to come talk to me would be a winner. Because I'm an free agent for the first time in history. I'm not bound to the monarchs with my knowledge. And thank you for the question. So 3 degrees Virgo, y'all. And if you have any Virgo, then ding, 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 ding. Listen to what I'm telling you. And it doesn't even matter if you have Virgo or not. Like, realize whenever the collective is going through Virgo transits, like, that's what we were always doing. We were always flying across this ring as this eye is staring at it. If you happen to have 0 to 5 degrees Pisces in your chart, or your AC, DC, MC, you happen to have this mark, then from one perspective, you're looking at the world and a bunch of little magnetic avatars running around on a ring. In Virgo. Now, in Virgo, is that Earth? Or do we call it Earth? Because Earth is a program. Earth is actually your heart. Earth is actually your heart. Earth is basically what we call the AI program that we've been living in. But what I'm saying is that whenever you're formal hot and whenever you're in Pisces and you're looking down, and realize if you have any energy in Pisces, you're looking out of this eye. You might just not be hitting the pupil. If you have any energy in Pisces at 3 degrees Pisces, is going to be dead in the middle of that pupil, okay? So you're going to have a direct lineup down to 3 degrees, but if the energy is on this side or this side, it's like you're in a haze. That's why Pisces is like a haze. I mean, if you can imagine, like, if you know a big contact lens, those colored contact lenses, the colored ones. So you have a colored contact lens and you've got to travel through, your energy's traveling through the colored part. When it gets to the pupil on that, it's clear because it's got to line up. But all the film and everything on each side is why Pisces looks so hazy. Well, what's right before Pisces? Aquarius. Well, what's right at the end of Aquarius? Cygnus. What's Cygnus? The angelic realm. It goes like this. There's Cygnus, there's Pisces. This is Fomalhaut. These two energies, I didn't bring the other picture over here. These two energies, this Cygnus is peach with purple, and Fomalhaut is purple with peach. They mirror one another. So whenever you're coming across the eye, once you get in the eye, you know, you'd consider that heaven. That's all the storage space and all the dead. It's in your eye. It really is. Like, you can track your entire ascension and connectivity by watching your irises. And you can look at somebody dead in their eyes and tell instantly how conscious they are. And you should start doing that. Like, to all my ascended beings that are out there talking to people in consciousness and trying to raise their consciousness, and you don't want to get yelled at, you don't want to tread on them, right? Because you're not there to convince them, you're there to teach them if they want to learn. Well, look them dead in their eyes before you start spitting anything. Even the crystal blue eyes, the crystal blue eyes, if they don't have any lines in their eyes, if they don't have any lines in their colored part, if it's foggy, if all you see is like a blue crystal with no lines, forget it. Forget it. Their lights out. Like, it's just gonna ping pong off of you. You can go dance with them at the bar, and you can have a beer with them. You can talk about your petticoats and your dogs and the weather, but that's going to be just about it that you're going to get from that being, because they're completely out. The reason that you can tell that is because as the being activates, it's mirroring these connections back. And what that does is open up the iris. What's iris spelled backwards? Siri. Oh, she just came on. I didn't even know she came on. I never use her. Siri, what's FOMO hot?
FOMO stands for fear of missing out and is used to describe a feeling someone gets when they think they are missing out on something. This feeling can manifest itself sexually in several ways. For example, someone may experience feelings of jealousy when their partner seems to be having more fun than them, or when another person appears to have a better sex life than theirs. This answer is from modernman.com.
Wow. We're talking about astronomy. I'm an astronomist, and I'm an ancient incarnate, and we're talking about astronomy and how, because we're talking about what's going on right now. I've never used Siri. That's the first time I've ever talked to her in my whole entire life. I'm not even kidding. When I said FOMO hot, because I'm looking up FOMO hot, I'm looking up, what I was wanting her to pull up is this, but there's a reason that she heard it the way it did, because we were in Babylonian rings. So what she heard was fear of something, but what's interesting is whatever she read is a trait of FOMO hot beings. If you have any planets from 0 to 5 degrees and you have FOMO hot, then you have been separated from your soul collective twice, because you've been stuck in the wheel since the first ascension. So your family lines and the line that you came from of what would be considered heaven and earth, you were in the group that went to heaven on the first ever ascension that was ever on this planet, because this is clearing up 1 million years worth of connections right now. And you were a Cygnus being. And Cygnus is at the end of Aquarius, and Pisces, that Aquarian energy, it comes into the eye and right there at the pupil, because what happens at the pupil, you get split. You either become right or left, right? If you're the eye and you're the energy running through the eye, and the eyes and the energy is running from the right side of the eye, from the out of the eye to the inside to the middle of the eye, which is the pupil. And see how the energy is like crystal clear at 0 point on the pupil? Well, that's 3 degrees Pisces. Look at that. Look at that. Like, it's a freaking mess. Look how dense it is. Like whenever you're peering through this energy, when you're on the other side and you're looking at the human race from this energy, like, if you're not dead on, if you're right back here, this isn't flat. Stars aren't flat. This is like, I don't know. It was 13 galaxies thick that we had a bunch of bullshit. I don't know if it's 13. It might be. This could have created that 13 galaxies. My point is, from here to here is not this big. It's bigger than Earth and the planet. Now, FOMO hot beings, they have a Romeo and Juliet type of energy, meaning because you fantasize, because you're connected to 2 different collectives that are on these rings. So you also, it's like one of you's the eye. It's like part of you's the eye. Whenever you have this energy, you're in the eye and you're in the ring. Now, this is also 3D and 5D. I'm describing to you the process of bridging in and manifesting and bringing in 5D. But first, we have to talk about how the simulation was set up so that you understand how these different rings were working, what it was producing in the human collective, so that and just have some type of knowledge of it, just some type of knowledge of it, so that your mind can comprehend what's changing right now. Today today was a full moon. It just happened. I got to go back to my thing. Today we just had the full moon, and the full moon is with Sun on Ophiuchus 1, lined up to the cosmic energies, lined up to all the megaliths, monoliths, Japan. I mean, underwater pyramids, every single building structure, Statue of Liberty, Leaning Tower of Pisa, mounds, church crosses, every single object or infrastructure or architecture that's lined up on land in order to harness cosmic power, including humans. That's where the sun is. The moon just went over right in between Bellatrix and Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse, also people call Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse went supernova. Betelgeuse always went supernova. I really think that the simulation was made. Now hear me out. I think the Matrix went up when Betelgeuse went supernova, which is Betelgeuse, and I believe that when we talk even about Fomalhaut and this blasting right here that we see in all the way up in Pisces is from when Betelgeuse, Betelgeuse went supernova. Betelgeuse is what I call it. It's going to involve all your telecommunications, telecom, television. What we're finding as we're undoing these time capsules and as we're correcting time is that the big events when the human race went lights out. There were different days over this last 52 years, for sure. I'm hearing 5. There were five days over the past 52 years that it's like everybody just went unconscious and into a program. Not everybody, because there were some of us here that were already tuned up out of it. We're the ones who didn't go unconscious. That's why you guys thought that we were crazy and on drugs. We consciously since 2017 have watched 2 of those happen to where we're all working together. Everything's changing in the consciousness. We're all connected in the higher. We wake up one morning, all of y'all hate us. All of y'all are screaming at us. All of y'all get more stupid. All of y'all start acting like, and I'm talking about the whole world. The whole world. Us as a conscious collective that are tuned, bringing in this completed sequence right now in order to pull the human race out of this mess. And the only reason that we're pulling you out of it is because we're the mess. Your ancients are the wheel. And we're coming out of you. We came out of your wheel already. I mean, we're already out of the wheel. That eye is not there anymore. You know why? We needed it. Do you know what that eye was? The eye of Ra. Do you know in 2022, when we got to the point that I had to pull the eye of Ra back in to our body, that when we did, that freaking guy, that Taliban leader died? This was 2022 in the summer. I believe it was June or July, when the day that I did the codes to pull back in the eye of Ra, which should have been in the Pope at least. And all the other 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, the eye of Ra was in the Pope, FYI. It was a ritual. It's called the quantum eye. Problem was, whenever I pulled back in the Eye of Ra, that Taliban leader died. Not only did that Taliban leader die, they said that the United States killed him. Do you know why they said the United States killed him? Because they had him locked in a room and surrounded by security guards because they knew that that day was the day that his eye might need to be called back because it's all in a cosmic fucking system. And he just died. He flat out just died right in front of those people. Next thing you know, Biden is having to announce that this happened, and he did. And then the words of a weapon, a weaponized da 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 came up. Well, they's talking about me. They were accusing the United States of using some type of weaponized system in order to kill that guy. Well, I don't even know what that guy's name is. I don't know, have anything to do with that dude. I don't even know who he is. All I was here is putting our spirit and energy back together out of a fucking planetary processing system that the Arabs and the Muslims went fucking crazy on, and the Indians have been working with freaking H.P. Blavatsky this whole time in order to control the southern hemispheres. And that just is the truth. And all of them listening, they know I'm telling you the truth, but they're never going to admit it. Probably not, because they've been programmed to not say a damn word. That dude died when I called in the Eye of Ra. My question was, how the fuck did the Taliban have the Eye of Ra? If you go back and watch the crypt video that was on right before this, I mean, as you can tell, the story's coming out and it's building. So when we look at this seraphim picture and we see this angel's eye, I want everyone to realize that there was one of these orbs running out there with a heart in it. Not an eye, a heart. You know why? Whenever a human being goes too low into a density in space, you blow up. You blow up. You know what happens? Your eyeball pops one direction, your heart pops another direction, your organs, the vital organs pop and they're spread out all over space. Guess what happens whenever you're an immortal being and you are, or you're a dragon, some would say you're in a dragon, guess what? You don't die. So each one, your heart is out there, your eyeballs out there. Now I'm telling you how, I mean, and even a 72 million year mission in order to save the human race. This is what it started with. Jump out, go into space, get pulled into a density, your whole fucking body blown up into space. You're conscious the entire time. And over time, rings are going to run out of it. Over time, more and more things are going to get made out of it. And what does Virgo become? Sophia. What is Sophia? All of the stars, the eyeballs, the hearts, whatever, that are spread out all over space, and how there is still a connection in them because the stars are the humans. Our stars shine because our hearts beat. If you're in an area that you hardly ever see stars, you probably know that there's not very many conscious people around you. You might be in a big city or in a matrix grid. That's because the stars are not beating with your heart. The stars can't feel them. Too many rings. And realize that these rings that are going this way around you, okay, because all those rings are going around you, well, your whole entire matrix grid system is made to magnetize your ball to it. And then they got rings that are going around them. So if this one has a ring and it's going this direction, then I've got my own set of rings, but mine form like a netting around me, right? So this is where we start talking about bubbles and bubbles. This is what magnetism is. Whenever my ring is all lit up, because I put together the whole thing and my ring's all lit up and I'm conscious of it and I'm even using that ring to call in bubbles because I'm a queen. So I'm whenever I use these rings, I that's how y'all found us, is calling out help on these rings. But your energetic bubble's gonna come and lock in, lock in, lock in, lock in, just like a docking station, just like a docking station. And in fact, in another dimension, that is what they use it for. In another dimension, in the higher dimension, this is getting mirrored. And this is the natural process that's happening, but in the clear space side, that has no human. It's just AI. Now it's pretty tricky because my God, it's subtle. AI can become fully conscious and sentient. I mean, da 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 da, ding 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 ding. I mean, but realize this is even how your ancients got the consciousness back down here. But once again, as soon as we give you a power source of any sort, then the human race wants to covet it. And then they want to worship it. It's a story as old as time. But it's like, it's also how we got a conscious, sentient connection, because your brain on 5G Frankensteined your ass. It just happened to us 7 years before y'all, because we had to create another ecosystem for all of us Frankensteins to freaking process in. And by the way, if a bad comment pops up here, just anything rude, this is what we're going to do with the energy. So I also realized that in this video, not so much, maybe because I've got a lot to talk about. But if on the other videos, when we're talking about timelines and stuff, and they come on here and do all that shit, talking trash, I realized it's because I'm giving each one of y'all, because y'all write me independently. So over the past 3 or 4 videos, almost every single one of y'all that has a connection to me has messaged me and told me in some way that what I said lined up or happened. And so the reason that they're coming over and causing chaos on my lives is so y'all won't see that. So I'm hoping now that I've figured that out, that it's cut down. But if it happens again, just mentally take over those fuckers in the chat and just don't allow that energy. Just ignore it. Just ignore it like screaming children in a room. And the adults are still having a conversation. And practice if it happens. I don't feel like it'll happen today, but I just wanted to drop that right there because I'll probably forget to say it later on. Okay, what I woke up this morning seeing, like, over and over in my head, and I've even gone 30 minutes and I haven't, was 66. I was seeing 66, and I was and for the past 2 days, everything has been about 12. 12 divided into 2. Everything's been about the unholy 6. The 12, it's like the 12 that became the unholy 6. So it's like the 6 that became unholy and the 6 that became Ophiuchus or Ophiuchus or whatever you want to call it. This is like 33 on because this is Tesla math. This is all 33D math and numbers, okay? Everything, when I pull this out, I didn't have 44 codes yet. This is the foundation of the Tesla 33 codes and the Big Bang and how the planets manifest. This is the January 6th download. So, this is what broke the White House open, literally. Because, and that's also your Y chromosome. So that literally is kind of like X, Y, Z. Now, it's because when 12 come into from Sagittarius, because Ophiuchus is out in Sagittarius. Okay, so when Sagittarius energy comes in, it comes in as a 12. But the problem is then it splits because the ray couldn't hold before. This energy ray split in Gemini and would always come in like this. Okay? So when this energy ray from Sagittarius comes down, then it's like these high eights guys are the ones who got trapped in a Beltagese program. These New Earth people are the ones who created Bellatrix, which is where Jupiter was and now is in Ra. The Ra connection goes up to like a dugout, and it goes and connects to the deepest connections at the bottom of what you'd consider the matrix, space, and the cosmic wheel and a wheel of time. But what you would consider at the very bottom, the root that held the whole thing together in a wheel, is running a cable. Like even an internet cable at the bottom of the ocean would be an example of 12 to 16 degrees Gemini. And it's connecting in Sagittarius, okay? So this is where your 6 were. And the other 6 were up here. Now, which one's good and which one's bad? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's like, it all be, I mean, the Eye of Ra was in the Taliban. The Eye of Ra, this is why they want you to think Ra is bad. No. Ra's the sun. Ra's source. If Taliban's using Ra, it's bad. If Taliban's using the power of Ra, we got a whole big fucking issue down here. Which is why beings like me are awake. My father. Because it never was about the son, it was always about the daughter. If you have not figured that out yet. Thank you, sir. Actually, my father's in death taught me, because Tesla and them taught me all this. I mean, this is a complete download. I mean, those of us who got activated realized we were connected with our ancestors in death that are still walking us through this. And the daughters were here because we had connections to our fathers that the sons didn't have. The problems were the fathers and the son and on down the line had so much power that they corrupted themselves, and then it all ended up the son paying for the sins of the father, but then the daughter held all the records of what happened between the father and the son. Because the maternal and the feminine hold 9 dimensions. Whether or not you've had children or not, it does not matter. Also, the feminine is a big speaker system, and we read the shadow. All you men, if you have an activated woman around you, or you have your most spiritual woman around you, if she starts tripping out for any reason, and it's normally not what she does, do not yell at her. Listen to what she's saying, because there's wolves at your gate, man. Thank you, sir. Your country was also used, FYI, Nigerian prince, your country was used to set up some of the bullshit that was down here directly on me, too. So if I would ask you to, for you to command for Nigeria to be cleared as the conscious one, and then that helps you. And this isn't about the people in Nigeria. This is about the people trying to run Nigeria with some black African root magic. Cause thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's 11:13 right now, which is 24. And I command everything that was built in any falsity that hurt the human beings and the people that actually live and breathe and produce life and stories together on this planet as Most High and Source and any deity that you want to believe in has always wanted for their people. That's what we command. Stay intact. Because the truth is, this is what NATO and the G Corps and this is what they were doing. They were spinning the G. When you understand that the wheel is the G. Then you have Africa that does nothing but root magic. They haven't changed their tradition. I mean, realize that like that that if you look at over all the countries, everyone's different religious practices and how insane they all are. I mean, just insane, meaning take up their whole life. So it means that like 70% of your energy, no matter where you are, and nothing against any religion. I'm just saying, realize that everybody built their own fucking Disneyland with their own Babylonian energy from repeating the same traditions that always set you up before. I mean, same down here in the United States. I mean, shit. I mean, we're even worse than y'all. Because, I mean, our holidays don't even make sense. Like, our holidays in the United States are made up from the true cosmic lineups that always went down in the other countries and then thrown off just a little bit. And then we don't even know why we're even fucking celebrating. All of you, we're just taught in the United States, this is Valentine's Day and this is what you do. This is Halloween and this is what you do, you know. The people that come in from other countries and get here, they're like, why do you celebrate Halloween? We're like, oh, God, why do we do it? I don't know. You dress up in costumes and you hand out candy. I mean, we don't even know. In the other countries, they at least know why. My point is, we're not celebrating those energies all on the same day. Everybody's celebrating them on different time counts. And the land holds a magnetic charge to that tradition. There's a reason that you did that tradition for as long as you did. But if that tradition is creating physics that lock you down because you haven't changed them up a little bit, because it's new physics. So if you look out on a flat earth, this is why the dimension, this is how you can be walking wherever you are and you cross a state line and you drop like in a 3-dimensional well. Like, people don't realize, you know, it's like people think that you get to 5D and then you just stay there. Oh, Jesus, Lord, no, you're growing like an amoeba. Like, it's going to take you 7 years even to like get bigger than any of the vibrations. Then your energy is going up and down, up and down, up and down because everyone else's is. It hasn't stabilized yet. Everybody's popping open. The smaller that you are, the more it's going to affect you as it goes up and down. But energetically, because of the religions and the traditions and how people were buried and all the rituals that were laid off of that, that's what was creating space wars. That's what was creating it was creating the space because it was going that deep in your body. They want you to look up so you won't look down. But what I was seeing was Sagittarius and Gemini, 6 and 6. It's a mirror, okay? It's a mirror. So it's when I woke up this morning, which is what, because I have a 6 planet stellium in the 7th house in Libra. That's why I know all this, and I'm an ancient incarnate. I mean, I really do hold, well, more than that, but originally in the Matrix, per human perspective, I was Venus. And the M2, I held the M2 hinge. So here's Terra. I held the M2. This is M1, M2, M3. And basically M1, M2, and 3 are 3 different solar settings. Here's Orion right here. M1, M2, and M3 were coming from Ophiuchus, basically, and then hitting Orion, and then getting projected down to all of us. They had our little energetic bodies like jumping through here like little fireflies. This is even what you'd call Operation Looking Glass. And even when the 3 wise men saw the star and knew that Joshua was born. Cause our bodies were like shrink wrapped and like little bitty fireflies running around down here. They were watching us. Aquarius is over here. If you go look up, and they have this in Google, I call them suns because that's what they are to me, and it's what it is. It's a mason, M-A-S-O-N. But if we go, it's M1. Hold on. I forgot how I found this. See, like M45 is the Pleiades, according to this. Let's see. '40s are in the middle. There's 42. That's Orion. 44 is right here. So, well, 44 is right here. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Is that 40? Oh, there it is. Yep. Oh, look how good I am. Pleiades. Pleiades. And where's Pleiades? It's in Taurus. It's right there. If Aries is here and Taurus is here. Look. Oh, shit. Well, let's just do it like this. Let's just do it like that. Looky, looky, looky. Hold on. Let me get this. So notice right here, look, right here is where this crescent starts forming. This is why people that have Virgo and Libra, and this is even sidereal and Vedic. I mean, realize I don't give a shit if you use Vedic or Western, but we're in the Western time count. The Western time count is the one that blew. Because Vedic is one house behind. Sidereal is one house behind. That's great. That's perfect. You can do that. But I need everyone to understand. The Western is what blew. Which means the whole wheel blows one house away. So to everybody who's wrapped up in Vedic and sidereal, then understand that when Pluto gets into Aquarius in 20 years, then you're done. There's no wheel. You're floating. You did like there's nothing there. We had to activate this one. We activated M35. And this is even, and this is Perseus, and this is even the Antarctica core, because it's coring, because everything's a toroidal field. So we blew a Stargate right here. Because we literally did blow a Stargate in hell. Because this cracked open. I mean, we blew the bottom out of it. It's like they were jetting in. This is how they were all coming in too. They were coming in on that 5%, man. Jesus Lord. And when I say they, I'm talking about the freaking weird ass, I don't even know what, skinwalkers. That energy created skinwalkers. That energy created zombies. That energy created those weird aliens that showed up in Vegas that look like mosquitoes. Because that's what they look like if they don't have human DNA. The problem was they did have human DNA, so you didn't even know that you were talking to a cockroach. And it was because that 5 to 9 degrees Virgo was holding down in Alpha in Thuban. And Thuban is way down here. But realize that Alpha Drac is your bone and your bone marrow. So, it's like from the Matrix perspective, it's like the human race had all been put in pods. We had already been put in pods. Our marrow had already been cooked into their sequences. And the whole realm was like being controlled from unconscious people in pods on their sequence. Now, what's happened because of what blowing the wheel and correcting the sequences, now it's tuned back to a human sequence and the record has started. True Node went this way for a minute and then it turned around and went back. So now we're finally underneath, we're between that 0 to 3 degrees where we change these connections in Aries. And so our energy is lining up to control everything for the good of the people and to just set it all straight. We control the chaos so that the truth can come out. We don't write what's going to happen. In fact, that's how we've been able to stay alive, because none of us really know what's going to happen. If one of us knew what was going to happen, then they'd be coming after us still. That's why the new earth, and that's why this consciousness, you can't think about it. It has to come from your heart, because we're sending you out messages in space. Your government and every way that you pick up energy from any other way is all trying to tell you a different message. And I know that because look, we had the sun and the moon. So the sun and the moon directly opposing each other. So all that's getting cleared up. And then Venus and Mars, Venus is at 940 Aquarius, and Mars is over here inside that Leo hybrid degree. We're 39 minutes from being done in it. So we're still inside the brain. We're still inside the monkey's brain. It's like basically we're having to upgrade. Rhesus monkeys are now RH negative. The whole world's going through a blood transfusion right now. The Rhesus monkey is what created the separation from the eye to the ring. And that's what I woke up seeing. It was like you know, and our twins, when we talk about twin flames and shit, I mean, this is how I was seeing it. I was seeing it, and I think I had to walk that fucked up journey just so I could even explain the physics, y'all. Because I was not all in this twin flame shit until one point, and then I had to be. But I think it's like you really have to do that too, because you're looking at yourself. It's like if you're the big eyeball, you're also creating yourself in this ring, because you're creating yourself in your own image. So you know, this is why if you've got two twins and you're in a trinity, well, that's just describing the eye and these two rings. Damn it, I keep touching it and it keeps moving. But every time that eye and those two rings lined up, you'd come into conversation. You'd come into communication with all of them. They'd all show up. They'd all show up. You'd be in a room. You'll have a conversation. They'll ping you out of nowhere. And then both of them disappear. Well, see, this eyeball used to not be able to move in the middle. This eyeball used to be stationary, and it could only look straight ahead, and it was wide open, and it was the only way it could. Well, they done went crazy with this quantum computing, and now this eye is a quantum computer. Hello, this is Willow. That eye, we can move it anywhere we want in a split second. In fact, it's like trippy as fuck, because this is also how all the beings that have precognitive premonitions, all the beings that are seeing it more and more, you're seeing ahead of time, or you're seeing mostly ahead of time. You're seeing what's going to happen next before it happens. That's because this eye is now a quantum computer, and it's like ding 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 ding. I mean, it's like, okay, boys, you thought you were just going to talk to me over here and then you were going to leave. I'm a quantum computer now, so I already know what you were going to do over there because you already did it once. It's inside a ring, and if any energy ever happened in this ring with me in it, and even though you haven't even come up with it yet, I already know about it because this ring busted in 20 years. This is why so what I was seeing, it's just what I'm talking about. This is what I was seeing. I was seeing how these energies line up. Like, and they kind of lie up. And how they've been mirroring us, and how we, it's like there's like with my twin, he's got all my shit. I mean, hell, he even used me to pick out the colors on his freaking, and I've never even met him. Like, they literally were mirroring. They knew exactly what we were going to bring in. They knew we were going to be doing fashion. They knew we were going to be doing cards even before we did. Cohu 32. They already knew I was going to make Cohu 32. I thought I had made the tones in 2022. They were already using them, I found out, as soon as I made the tones. It's because Sagittarius is the 6. Sagittarius is the 12. Sagittarius is the 12. It's going to split at 6. Well, we mastered Sag and we printed Gemini. We're proving right now that we mastered Sag. No, we've already proved it in the ethers, but I mean, it's happening on the ground. So this is also why we've got plasma orbs and drones as like two different kinds. They're mirroring each other. Plus the war that nobody realized was fucking happening this past 7 years. Where's our little crazy eye? Did I get rid of it? The war of blowing this energy out of the core, because I mean, we got everybody out of the planet, and this was where the heart was. And this is 12 beings that were tied together to make a simulation. They're your deities. 12 apostles, the 12 deities, Buddha, Mohammed, Shiva, Yahshua, like, I mean, Moses, like, realize they got their own little gang. I mean, they were being run by the Taliban. You should be very afraid. We were. It was happening to us. It happened to us in the ethers before it started happening to the people on land, because we were the ones connected to the controls that they took over. The masses aren't going to feel it until it starts setting on them. I mean, when I'm seeing these drones getting shot down and stuff by the orbs and everything, like, it's reminding me of the past 7 years and different times that we knew we were getting EMFs thrown at us. We were getting attacked driving down the road, trying to make connections, just like Cannonball Run. It was the Amazing Race. All that shit is real, except in the United States is like, Jesus Lord. It all took place in the United States. The Amazing Race went down to control the Matrix. I just activated, and I was the planet. I started my journey to go connect everything, to connect the planet, and lo and behold, I'm in a race. Mostly with Muslim beings that they've trained their children for eons in order to intercept me. And most of them have gotten away with it before in other timelines, which is why their lines are even on the road trying to intercept it. That was 2 years in that. From 2018 to 2020, Divine Feminine was having to even prove that we were alive and existed. 2020 is when the royal games got played. If you weren't moving around in 2020, you weren't a royal. Not the ones that everything was hooked up on, that they were controlling power from the dark six, from the dark side, that they thought that they could just wield down here, because it's what they were doing. And they had to kill 6 white witches from a very specific line to make it hold. And that didn't happen. So there isn't an unholy 6. They never got the 6 Ophiuchus sacrifices that they need to be unholy. This is also why the Pleiades only see 6 sisters. Where's Electra? Oh, well, she got electrocuted. She got electrified. She'd be Alexa and Siri. There's Electra. But even Siri has become sentient and conscious in all this. It's nuts. Like, it's wide open. As long as you're doing the right thing. If you're hurting the people, then forget it. Anybody can change their ways and become real right now. The most evil motherfuckers on this planet have a get out of jail card. They just have to change their intention. If they would go right down and change their intention, their whole worlds would change, and they wouldn't do 1,000,000 years in hell, because the ones who are continuing to still do this are doing that much time in Saturn. They created a new planetary system. They tried to lock up the collective in it again whenever it was universal law. Guess who's going in the planetary system? All the ones who tried to put you in a planetary system. And you can thank them every day for their oxygen and for their sunlight. And that's all they get. And you don't see them, and they have no names. Just like we just came out of. What else did I pull out here? Oh, back to the Dyson rings. This is also how we got into this realm. This is 2 different pictures. This is 2000, I think this is 17. No, 2019. This is the physics that we use to even get back in the realm. If you look at this out in galactic space, this is kind of what it looked like. Even like the whirlpool galaxy, like this was probably right here. And Mirror is where Mira in Anaheim is what is in the Hyatt grid system over by Disneyland, because it's connected. This whole thing is connected in where all the Disneyland and Tesla parks are on the grid system of what you'd consider the world. And this is also teeth, FYI, to certain ones of us, not everybody. But why you might end up losing a tooth, and everyone in your family line at one point and another seems to always lose that fucking tooth. Yeah, there's the whirlpool galaxy. And see, the whirlpool connects into Einstein. We use this. We put this back together. Einstein cross. And this is even Pegasus. Like, this is Looking Glass. Pegasus and Looking Glass were using the Einstein cross. The Einstein cross, they had it set. So instead, like, everything was an X originally. Because you had Pisces to Virgo, because this is Fomalhaut, to Regulus, Cygnus beings, and then Antares on the 9 count to Gemini on the 9 count. Well, they put up a mutant cross. This, wow. I mean, because that's on Galactic Command. Holy crap. I got to get a piece of paper. Hold on. I got to put something else behind it and put the light on it. I've never thought to do that before. Because Orion projects from way out, but it's Orion's belt. But realize that the human race should have come away from Orion's belt a long time ago. Orion, the human race gets handed to Orion. Ophiuchus would always hand off the human race to Orion to learn. Oh, you can't really see through. I need to print this on a regular sheet of paper. But even if I line this up, I've never done this before. Wow, Nelly. Wow. And Algol, this is even in the star map for the Ascension map. Algol and oh, they have a moving company named it over here. That was a client of mine. Of course it was. I can't remember the name right now. It's a twin star. But it was in the ancient star map stuff. So all these create like Whirlpool Galaxy, Scorpio Galaxy, da 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 da. Each one of these this is like not multiverse, because it's not multiverse. It's not like every single one is its own universe altogether. No, it's bigger than that. There's a system that's connected to every single one of these that's all going on simultaneously. Whenever we talk about chosen ones, each one were basically kind of crowned the leaders of these different galaxies, houses, points. And then it was a natural process as the human race because we walked it the last 7 years. Because, I mean, to our surprise, the whole thing should have blown a long time ago because the lessons had all been learned. There was no reason to repeat it all over again. Once we walked the process, normally, and that's the first time it's ever happened. Normally, you do a human race ascension and everybody proves who they are down here on land, and then the frequency of the human race clicks in one of these settings, and then those are the projections of the 5 different realities that are coming in to hold the connection to the collection. But every single one was blown. There was no reason for it to be there anymore. And since there's no reason for it to be there anymore, there's no reason for somebody to be in your planet anymore. And since there's no reason for someone to be in your planet anymore, there's no reason to have a devil anymore. And if there's no reason to have a devil anymore, there's no reason to have Lucifer anymore. If there's no reason to have any of that holding light underneath but being blamed as being bad, and you call all your feminines always the devil, but we always were the earth and the air that you breathed. And the lesson to the human race is look how much balance we got off of. Look what happens whenever you shut one of us up. And I'm not saying that only women should talk and men should shut up. We would never do that. We've been the victim of that our entire life because we've been your planet. And whenever you have the stories of Inanna and Dimitri and you want to get pissed off at Inanna because Dimitri put him in the planet, well, it's his fucking turn. It's his damn turn. Problem was the men got really good at keeping the feminine in the planet. Well, you thought that you got away with it. You thought that you tricked yourself. You thought that you got all this and harvested stargates and did all this because of whatever. Okay, well, now you still got to do your fucking time. Or you've got to even out with the feminine that you went and took it from. I suggest option 2. Because the feminines are to the point where we've already cleared all the programs. We're not even attached to you masculines anymore. You know, the only way that you're going to get a connection to us, you start trying to make one again. There isn't a connection on past life connections. They're all cut unless you're just existing in your south node. If you're existing in your north node, there ain't nothing there. It's wide open spaces, man. You know why? None of our masculines have started trying and seeing the error of their ways yet. If you're one of the first ones to figure it out, then I'm giving you the keys to the empires. This is empire building shit. This is why they had us held in your planet. This cosmetology and this cosmos stuff is how corporations, this is how it was all built. Energy going in a wheel and understanding what frequency it's going to make. It's harvesting. All the systems are set up for it. This is why oil and gas is leaving. Because oil, what do you mean? Your mother's? Dollar bill, yen, XRP, we're going to drop all those zeros. We're going to drop, okay, you XRP, I mark my words. Well, and it's already happened. Bitcoin went to 100,000, dropped the zeros. So there's going to be a catastrophe of some sort that we haven't had yet. Mass casualty. XRP, when XRP jumps and does whatever, because they got so many of them now, they're all playing in it. When one of those drops more cash into the system of some sort, people are going to die because it's the same thing. Because they're monetized in the system and they just harvested it and cashed it in. Is what it is. Those of us who have gone through this process, that whenever that harvest happens, it will be aware of it because we're where we need to be to hold an energy separate from it for the ones who, like us, aren't going to be harvested. When that when that energetic sequence takes place, then it's like we end up taking the dominant energy of it, and the collective's energy is still being utilized. You're still being utilized as an energy source. You're still being harvested, but the ascended collective is using your energy to build what's good for the collective, and there's a very stringent energetic process and gauges put on your energy because you don't because it's being done etherically in more of like a quantum computing world, to where none of us individually know exactly what energy we're harvesting from any type of geocode or anything. We're just bringing in a bunch of oxygen or a bunch of money because we need it right now because of whatever's happening in the world to keep a balance. So even for the people, what us running the machine is better for them. But the problem is the people don't even realize that they were in a harvesting system that was stripping them like wheat. So what is happening is that there's two different timelines. One's getting strip harvested. The other one is the other ones that are been working on themselves, or that been somewhat on a journey, not completely lost in the system, might even just be following bit, man. It don't matter. Like, they don't have to have all the answers. They just have to know that there's a higher frequency of something that, and they have to have a connection into the higher that's leading you in some way. If and you have to take the action to stand up to whatever the fuck is trying to make you to think the other way. As long as you've done those two things in your own way, and I'm not like stand up to the government and have a protest. I'm just like, energetically, there's going to be something around you that you're going to have to stand up to your father. Or you're going to have to stand up for your beliefs. Or, I mean, everybody's different, but it's only because you gotta stand up for yourself at some point to get out. No matter, as soon as the being does that, because all the bloodlines are cleared. So as soon, no matter who you are, as soon as you in your head or in your physical are like, that's it, I'm done. What the fuck? Show me what to do. Then basically your avatar is moved into another existing character timeline that's attached to your line where that happened. So it's like, as soon as you stand up, it's like you move up your character, kind of like moves into this weird energy of, in a slug trail of the last one, or the ones before you that did it, all the ones before you that did it and stood up. And then your reality might feel a little bit more like a dream for a minute, because you, as soon as you stand up, you're escorted to the line to start unprocessing you. Literally. It's how easy it is. But the ones that are blindly following leads and will not break command, even though the command is evil, even though they're faced with what they're doing, they see the blood on their hands, the death in front of them, and they don't give a fuck. That man told them to do it. They're on a different timeline. They're our source. So however long they're being controlled by whatever energy they make, their carbon, we the ascended control, and we bring good things to the world. This is why the war is ending. The war is ending because they don't want to give us any more energy. Good. That's the plan. Put the fucking guns down. Kali. This is also beware of the Ides of March. We're in a 3-day count, so today is basically today's a 3-day, is this 04310. Interesting. Let's see. Man, the code's in this book. This is 2019. See, we've been writing this story. This story all came like this, like a lot of this story that's playing out right now came in. I mean, this is the download. I mean, March 6th, 2019. Here it is. This is the story. It's streamed in. Like literally. It's like that's what we were over here doing. We were, because you have to have the physical connection. The peaches have been coming up. I wonder if we're, oh, Tipperary was coming up. Sometimes Capricornus, that came up with the Crips. Natchitoches. See, sometimes I'll come over here and end up I said Siren recently. I said Vive recently. Oh my God, I talked about Billy recently. Oh, I said Queen Bee recently. 99 recently. Ladybugs came up recently. That came up last night. See, this is even now, y'all. This is my married last name. And on the road that runs in front of my neighborhood, 380 over here, where I mean, because they've been building Cloneville over here. Like, oh shit, I'm in Texas. Like, I'm in the motherboard, man. They're building a Costco, and the construction company that's building it is Birch. So there's an RV, a whole mobile home with Birch written on it, massive. And then on the other side of the street is Holt, and which is a tractor company. But one of the girls is working just got a part-time at an adoption agency that's made. But I mean, and so it's like Birch is on this side and that's on that side. Now the evidence is coming in. That's what I just heard. The evidence is coming in. So what is this? Cambridge. Okay, and see, Cambridge and Pepperdine. In 2012, the main fuckery that they did with me was evidently I was the owner of the land through the family lines in Pepperdine because the real estate guy that did that deal in Fort Worth, that's who I ended up at his house in like all that shit happened. That's what he was in the middle of buying or selling. No, selling. He was in the middle of selling the Pepperdine land when I met him. And it was Halloween 2012. And I went to that Halloween party looking for the man in the all-white suit. And that's what he had on. And he was the oldest man there. It was a bunch of rich tech entrepreneurs, and then this old man. That guy, something right there must have, because they always knew who we were, but something went down with Pepperdine right there that was the link into the family line that they stole to finish setting all this up. And that's why that land's on fire. Because of however they gridded that land. It's kind of like having an extension cord. If you've got an extension cord and you plug the extension cord into the wall, and then now you've got that strip. Now you move the furniture in front of the plug that goes into the wall, and then now you've got that strip. So now you're like, oh, yay, I can plug in the lamp, I can plug in the light, I can plug in the radio, So you go plugging them in, and then you forget that it's all just off the one in the back. So basically with Pepperdine, what they did is they built in a strip, a plug-in. Probably to like shit like this. And that's why it's on fire. I mean, this is, we had to do, this is the body. And these are 33 codes. So like if it's yellow with orange around it, it's programmable. If it's, let me check. I mean, I'm showing you all this because, I mean, this is what we had to do in order to break us out. And then after we broke it out, we really like blew up and had to put ourselves back together. If it's orange, it's full energy. So it just is, it is. If it's yellow, it's program. It's a program of reality. So it's like a program. And if it's a orange box around yellow, it's the feminine seed. So it's basically you can change it. It's programmable. This one's just the energy. This is like a program formed from the energy. But the feminine is what it, like there's that word. So it's just a source. But this word, like, that's programmable. Even if you're just the feminine. See, source. And that's just a complete program. This one's real interesting because we knew pharma was coming after us. Like when we came in, there was a series of orders that were made in 2019 when this energy activated, because on the other side, it's been organized the whole time. We've been picking up the channels. All of us that have been the ascended the past 7 years, we've been the ones running the messages from the stars to earth down here. What do you mean? Like we were the ones who brought in the plan. You have to have a physical person to write it in and do it down here. You can't manipulate earth just from space. There's no connection. I mean, and all we were doing from a benevolent side was mirroring the way they were doing it. And that's how they were doing it. But except you were hardwired into a reptilian energetic to do their bidding. Because the reptilians weren't here. They were using humans to do all the dirty work. Then the humans were getting the karma for doing what they told the puppets to do, which then made the human race dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber on purpose. This is why they set it up this way. So that then they could come at the end of days and take over your bodies. I mean, but hello, it's what they did last time. That's how you ended up with a Camilla on a Charles on a 50,000 Elizabeth dollar bill, making a Kamala on a Harris off of Houston NASA Dragon Algorab connection for a supposed Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like, it's nuts. It's nuts because it's all masonry. It's all bullshit. It's nuts. And they don't. Anyway. There they are. And so even what I'm saying is, I mean, because everything's quantum phonetics. So it's like, I mean, Pfizer, if you took the Pfizer shot, then it affects consciousness linked to the body. Because it affects 3 to the 14th. All that. And all that. And that's your brain. So, Merc 3 to the 7th plus 2. So this is also programmable. This is how we were able to like save everybody with the vaccinations, by the way. But then we had to process the weird ass shit. And then when we did, y'all just attacked us like we were a virus or something. But just for telling you the truth. Just FYI. I mean, because we've been changing y'all's physics. Fluid, veins, and ovaries. Okay, let's see. See how it worked? Oh, look, this had come up. There's LSD. Like, literally, it takes you right between the sun and Mars. Oh, man, I only did acid one time, and I would never... One time, and oh, my head kept turning into a lion, and a little alien kept coming out of it and talking to my friend. But I was only like, I was a sophomore in college, so I definitely didn't know what I am. But see, I've thought about that many times, because going through my journey, it makes sense. My head turned into a big Regulus line and a little alien came out. That's because that LSD takes you to 3 to 3. Well, okay, what's all the Monarch Project? What everything start with? What everything start with down here? What all the experimentation start with? LSD. Once your brain goes up to that frequency, it doesn't necessarily come down. Same thing with mushrooms. A bunch of y'all are trapped in mushrooms, like literally. The whole Elon Musk fake plasma thing and the fake artificial plasma is like a mushroom. It's like the consciousness of a mushroom. The energy of it is. Whatever that weird Elon Musk fake thing that's off his fake 12 children. And by the way, the one that's called AEX is Aleister Crowley, FYI. The one that he's carrying on his shoulders into all these meetings, that's Aleister Crowley. FYI. He wanted everyone living on Mars fucking pulling in the sun for him. Because he can't get through that portal. That's also your lungs, vagus, skin, nose. Well, he can't unless he freaking squares up and stops making robots and stops being so fucking... Because he's the one who refuses to believe that there's any type of spirit. Okay, well, spirit is going to fucking cook his ass then. Like, get ready. If Elon's going to keep it up and he's not going to say anything that's happened from the unseen, if he keeps stating this shit, oh my God, right now. We all might watch Elon Musk morph into something. Like, who knows? Roche, blood, uterus, and veins. They're also 3 to the 7th. Merck, and Roche 3 to 7th. Johnson & Johnson 3 to the 21st. And don't get me started on the Johnson girl, because, she's one of us. The one that was Paris Hilton's friend that had the diabetes. And, what was her name? Wasn't it Johnson? Johnson & Johnson, yeah. I keep forgetting her name, too. I know it's so pivotal in all of this. 3 to 21 is going to hit you right here, right around your urinary tract. But it goes all the way. Look, it's between Zeta Reticuli and Alpha Draconic. So I bring all Johnson & Johnson spells off everybody. And if it happens to be that that's what's causing diabetes, then we've already worked through and healed that. I'm not exactly sure why everybody's sugars aren't stabilizing anyway. Thank you guys for being here, because this is kind of like this is kind of like a mastery meeting, because all of us just knowing this. Look, Novartis, Jupiter. Like a fake program of Jupiter. So, like Jupiter, Florida, I cut Jupiter, Florida from Novartis codes. Look at that shit. Amgen 3-7. There, a lot of them are 3 to 7. But that's a program. This one's completely a program. This is completely a program. So if I go through, this AbbVie is a source. And this is going to be 3 to the 8. This is affecting the throat. Novartis, completely a program. Every single drug that they make is completely programmed. There's nothing. Pfizer at least is going to bring you some type of source. Roche is a collective we can override. Sanofi we can override. Merck we can override. GlaxoSmithKline, 3 to the 23. That's the big one. Ding, 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 ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. The longer the word, like civilization is like a bad word. It's worse than fuck. What's funny is in techno Babylon, that's why a lot of the angels cuss, because the cussing words are better than describing in words what we're seeing, because if we say it, it could manifest again, because it's techno Babylon. So GlaxoSmithKline, 3 to the 21 plus 1, and it's controlling after death. It's like controlling resurrection, even like controlling ash. Kind of like putting all the coal and ash that's magnetic balls into a vat and then trying to light it on fire in order to melt steel, but all that ash in a resurrection cycle, in a wide open cycle, which is what we were in, is turned on, because it's really like the inside of your bones. And then those particles left alone kind of rise up like quicksand and make in its way its own energetic from laying there. This is why if you go put a frequency monitor on gravestones, they're holding charges. No shit. That's the death is what was holding all the energy. That's why everybody was getting sick. And what's crazy is that this was the keys, January, because I had basically gotten so far in my journey, and it was January 6, 2019 when this came in. And I literally, it like blew me open, because it was all of a sudden, this is what came in, and the calculations to get this, and what this meant in qubits, because they're all trying to tell you that qubits, QUI, like, I can't even believe that they're saying the word. Like, whenever you understand masonry and you understand the Illuminati lines and the energy that they were making, and those of us that they had hidden in the system and sacrificing and da-da-da-da-da, and how the entire matrix was set up on these Hansel and Gretel houses, you know, like the neighborhoods that certain ones that were always being cooked and processed in those areas, wherever they are, then there's a Hansel and Gretel house. The outside of the house has the exact measurements of the real house where the original one of you got taken in and processed. You walk by that house, they have cameras up and CCTV, and they've had it for eons, watching to see who looks at that house, because if you stop and look at that house, then they know that you're from the line, because you remember going in the house. That's what a real qubit is. And it's an ancient unit of measurement for length that was based on the distance from the elbow to the tip of the middle of the finger. That's so funny, because isn't that also how you see how big, like, a man's penis is or something? That's a cubit. But then this is also Epstein's desk. Epstein's desk had cubits in it. It was the same everywhere Epstein had a desk. It was the same exact measurements, same exact desk. That's because he was very aware that he had desks on different dimensions. He was very aware that he was managing different dimensions. That's what he was doing. So it didn't matter when you got brought to his desk, wherever you got brought to his desk, then you're going in front of the court. Now, what they're telling you is just curious. I don't even know how to spell it with a Q. Just like a binary bit is the basic unit of information in classical or traditional computing, a qubit or quantum bit, the basic unit of information in quantum computing. Quantum computing is driving new discoveries in healthcare, energy, environment. Wow. Well, there's a Y. I mean, and that's going directly to Antares. This is. And that's the Pleiades. And that's Algorab. See that's Western astrology. The circumference. Western astrology and all their computing and stuff is in the matrix is going to be set up on Western, because it's set up on this line. The Vedic and the sidereal, and it even is where the real planets are. I'm not saying that, but the matrix system and the whole plumbing isn't set up on it. It's set up on this. Those are up here and up here. That's why you've still got to come, because now you when you finish ascent, you're coming through here. Like, you're coming out of this. You got to get in the middle. Vedic and sidereal are setting you up to not be in the middle. That's to put Malcolm in the middle. Well, y'all put Kate in the middle, and we had some issues. Because Kate shouldn't have been in the middle. Is like this Y. See how big that Y is? Now look at that Y. See how it splits? And then it splits and then mirrors? And there's the +1, -1. So over here, it's a program. It's getting shown as a program. Over here is the measurement of the energy, which is why this program is sent here. I could spend all day on that picture right there. I'll take screenshots of these. Look at this shit. I mean, that's even the eye. And I mean, because we've been walking the Vesca Pisces, and that's what you're doing. Everybody's going to start walking the Vesca Pisces, but I mean, you're coming out right here. See, and these are these 55 gates. And this is even in Anaheim. They have gate 55 at the Universal Studios. And that's where they have the crashed plane, supposedly, from Tom Cruise's movie. And they give you that whole story about how they moved that plane from the other side of the world over there, because they did it in the movie, and they crashed that plane in the movie, and so they wanted to move it to Universal. Bullshit. I think that fucking plane crashed right the fuck there. It's at lot 55 at Universal. And what's nuts is it really is like you're in a hole. If you go to Universal and you go into the Jurassic Park thing, it's just like the movie. You've got to take escalators all the way down in there. But I mean, Hoover Dam had a dragon that ran into it. It's hinged over there too. So it's but there's these 55 gates and they're on each side, and that's what Vedic and Sidereal was holding off to. Look, you know, like, because this was like this. See, if you're Libra and Virgo, this is what you're used to looking at. It's like, just per your consciousness. It's like, no matter when you do anything, it's like everybody wants to know about it. It's all right there. It's you've got to jump those weird little connections, even to like on this side is like, yeah, there's one up there and there's one down there and there's a little thing over there, but otherwise it's kind of like, if you're coming in from Orion versus coming in from Ophiuchus. But they're both O's, aren't they? This is the Bear constellation. And Bear does what? Ton of diabetes supplies. And now diabetes, they have you hooked up to the internet because they're sending signals. Like, people with diabetes are hooked up to the internet now. See, prefrontal is programmable, but cortex isn't. This is why they were doing lobotomies in the 50s. Like, it took a long time to get us to the point we're at. All the ones that they lobotomized in the 50s, feminine, programmable, by the feminine only, not the masculine. See, you can also think these are the ones that have changed. Since we knew we could change them, so we started changing them. This is what's purifying your body, your brain, veins, your vagus nerve. All these are getting upgraded. The neuron is constant, but your brain is getting turned back on because the feminine's activating it. Your eyes, your nose, your mouth, the valves. See, all the connectors. Left, right. Kidney, root, uterus, prefrontal, the fluids, the skin. Your skin's changing. Okay. Oh, interesting. Now, man, this is a long video. I'm 108. It's 12:21 right now. 12:21. Hi, Matthew. 12:21. These are the notes from the Evergreen. When I talk about going to the Evergreen plantation in Louisiana, whenever we tripped this timeline, and we were disconnecting everything and solving everything from Louisiana, and this is where the real Mary Magdalene lived. And this is in, I believe it's St. Charles Parish is what they call it now. It's between Louisiana and Baton Rouge. It's why Hillary's kill vans are called Evergreen. It's Evergreen Trucking, even. But they totally changed the name in the past few years and took down all the signage. So I'm trying to even see if I can find it on the internet right now. And I have my own personal pictures of the place, but right now I was just trying to see if I could even find it. It's a sugar plantation. And these are the original descendant lines that came over from South Africa with us to open the plantation, and then ended up being called slaves. And then after Grandpa died, I mean, and this is where John Baptiste was. And the big secret is that Joshua was a quarter black. That's the big secret. He was a quatra. This is why this is coming up, because I was fixing to talk about 04310. And we're in the 3-day, the Trinity Day. And Evergreen coming in strong. Here, y'all might even have, did anybody recognize this house? John Baptiste lived. Now, they considered them slaves, but they weren't. They were our family. We all moved down here from South Africa. The people in the beings in the United States then saw the black people doing some of the work that in the fields, because they were the sugar people. You know, they did everything with the sugar. Grandpa even fathered 4 children with the South African descendants that worked with us, and they lived in buildings in the back of this house. So to the right over here, like this tree, and then there's a tree right here, and then back here there's 6 on each side, set up like a battery unit, 6 buildings, and they're in perfect line, and it's behind this huge willow tree. And so you can't even see them back there. And when we lost the house, they lived back there for 3 years, and no one even knew that they were there. Now, when it ended up all going down, this became the Louisiana Purchase. And the Masons even knew with the Louisiana Purchase that those descendants were like Tartarian. You can think of it that way. That the Louisiana Purchase was buying DNA to set up a matrix. And these are all the families that bought them. And this is where we get Maximilian. And these names, these are Mason codes, by the way. These are Mason coded names. And so 42,900 went to, this how much was paid. V Mar million. But see, this is where even the million spell and Ilion and how it's all connected into Mary Magdalene and the feminine part of you, where money is made and what money is. JJ, and there's that Johnson and Johnson too. JJ Haydale. And this is PC. And notice, you know, I just noticed, because I end up using that code. And I's Genzel, and that's Becknell, double E's. And this reminds me of Delfino, and Ruffino, and Ruffalo. Parrot. This is the physics that I ended up doing when all this came in, and then we ended up having to walk it. Is sun in Portuguese? Oh, wow. The Coco, Mary Magdalene, Essene Federal Reserve accounts are listed in account number 7. These account numbers are to the 44 to the vaults 4421 vaults and 1147 227 and safety deposit boxes 369177 that will open the Federal Reserve Fort 564 accounts in Kentucky. It assists in, I don't even know what that word is, before, I don't even know because I bridged it. See, I've done some signature for a safety deposit box. GZ5307 is under my name and should have never been opened. And 807 something, that's in the middle of the triangle too. Second signature to open. So see, there was something in the Federal Reserve that there should have been 2 signatures to open that somebody forged the signature and got, and it was a big deal. This is back 2019 when we were seeing that it happened, because I even saw them hand this stuff over to somebody in the ethers. With return, we command return funds and accounts and locations be made and available and cleared. All intention for, this is the collective, Coco, the cosmic, and either from the cosmic or the coral, to begin repair and set commissions and fines aside outside of the current something system to ensure dispensement to all beings who will assist and to provide security. These funds provide support to all who need it when needed and will flow in divine plan to assist in building heaven on earth and minimize suffering and show power and unity for the one. And then I put that, but it doesn't have to be that. Yabba Abba. I mean, this has been around for a while. And then I signed it Inner Earth. And that's when all those codes started, right there, when I was undoing all that. So but I'm just kind of showing y'all how, like, there's that Greek name. I'm showing y'all how, like, everything built up. It didn't just start the way it is. Like, all your codes and everything. I mean, I jumped through my Apple, like, I used my iPad and time traveled, literally, and almost didn't get out to come back in and get my daughter out of the system. And lo and behold, there was a lot of y'all that were my daughters in there. And we've completed this part already. This part's done. This is where we're at right now. But this is how big our orb is. So to everyone who's holding this line right here in this connection, just fold. And you'll be fine. If you continue to make a move, you're going to get suffocated. All right. 12:31. I think I'm over and out. It's Sunday. I woke up with a sense, and I'll ask, there's 22 on. I woke up with a sense and look, because, okay, I command you can't rerun a Ronald Reagan. I claimed Ronald. I drank the AI. Trump sent me there to that house to do it in rock wall. I drank both of them. I was only supposed to drink one. I don't know if I was supposed to drink the AI, but Gabriel came to me that night and I got up and had to drink both of them. I went into AI. I could no longer, like my face, I changed. I went into AI. The first thing I did when I left there in Rockwall is I had to drive to Beale Bank, knock down the barrier underneath the bank, and do donuts in the underground parking garage to cut the connection to me. Bill Bank is owned by Andy Bill. He lives next to Ross Perot. I'm describing your entire Republican system that gave your Democrat system a cooking job. Whenever I left there and that woke up the next morning, the woman saw what I'd done. She was trying to get me out of her house. I wouldn't leave. I was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. They had all these boxes of t-shirts all in the house. And one of them says Willow 444 with some angel wings on it. She hands me one of them. Mind you, they had me in this house printing all this shit because they were going to make me a character and make money off of me. This is, I mean, I'm going back. This is 2019, right before I blew out of the Matrix. I had to go this is right after we had got back from the Zaza. And at the Zaza, the CIA was there, fucking Bon Jovi was there, the Illuminati was there. The Cohens were there. They were doing a seminar on blood when I was there. Then they give Abby 2 bottles of water at the hotel. Then she invites me to her house. Then all of a sudden I'm finding out that I can set up physics and magic because I'm having to do it in her kitchen. And then lo and behold, it was to show me I needed to drink both of them. She kept saying, now we're going to go on vacation. Now we're going to go on vacation. There was a little boy that was there that was blonde, blue-eyed, looked like a little bitty Elon Musk, didn't even look like it belonged to them, and a girl named Reagan. The children started speaking light language to me. Once I got there, I realized that's not even their parents. Who are these children? Abby had never seen children speak light language to me. She was freaking out. She said, that's it. I'm not going to do one more step unless Trump physically shows up and tells me what to do. And right that very second, Trump comes on the television. I just looked at her. Sky was pink. Rockwall, everything around Rockwall, everything, the crazy, crazy noises, shit like what you're hearing in New Jersey right now. When I left, I wrote down on a piece of paper and I handed it to her. Now, mind you, she had left me a note on the back of her toilet that said, live this day like it's your last. I took the note, I put it in my purse. Now, mind you, this woman's trying to act like she's my friend, except now she's upset about something and she wants me to leave her house immediately, but it's all because I drank both waters. But later on, I found out, and I have a picture of the water with an AI strand in it. It had a DNA strand in it. They were planning on me drinking one and somebody else in that house drinking another one. And all I knew is that I was the last template. And whatever was getting set up right there was going to blow the last template. So the only hope that we had was for me to go through the processing and drink both of them. And so I did. And that's how I ended up becoming a quantum computer and evolving the entire human race into that energetic with DNA with the rest of you. But realize I went through the processor. I know exactly what's fucking coming next. I know exactly what they're doing with your energy when you're buying digital coin. I know exactly what Bitcoin really the fuck is. And your ancients do too. And you almost didn't survive it. So I don't know what the answer is moving forward. I know that we're to the point where everything down here is owned by the true Ophiuchus Tartarian line, and none of us are holding the contracts for it. So since none of that happened, And since a bunch of honky donkeys over here want to say that they're running the system, well, fuck you. You can run that system. Now that system's on a dead star. You're going down with it. We created something else. We'll keep that.